everyone, I'm here bringing you a story of your story video. Today I want to talk about some steps you do before you even start writing. So I have a prologue here that I have written a grand total of 3 sentences for. But before that, I've done a lot of work about creating characters and what the setting is and brainstorming and stuff like that. And so I want to talk about that process. So my first thing I'm going to talk about is creating the characters. So my general premise, if you remember from last time, was a girl makes a wish, or 2 wishes rather, on a shooting star. And so the first thing I need to think of is, in order for her to be making wishes on shooting stars, she needs to be unsatisfied with something in her life. And namely, because one of her wishes is to get good at writing, she needs to be not so good at writing. And her second wish is to have a dream romance, and so she can't have one of those either. So I made her not so good at writing and shy and afraid to approach boys, so she can't really flirt very well. So she has problems getting boyfriends. I've also made it so that she's a little bit older than most people when they first start out writing. So she's just graduated high school, basically. But she's not in college yet because she can't pay for it and she doesn't want to go into debt. So right away, just the idea that she doesn't want to go into debt makes her a very, trying to be self-sufficient kind of person. And so she doesn't want to borrow from anybody. She wants to make it on her own. And she wants to make it on her own with writing. So that's part of what she makes the wish on. So the star, I don't have very much on him yet. He's going to be called Vago. I looked it up. It means the swooping eagle, basically. And so I thought that would be appropriate for a shooting star of an appropriate alias name. And so far all I have for him is the fact that he's going to become her mentor and that he's going to fulfill her wish. So this is driven by the story premise rather than innate characteristics so far. So I haven't fleshed him out very well yet. He has not appeared yet in what I've written, so that's part of the reason why. Now, let's talk about the setting for a second. So obviously the fact that I'm mentioning high school and college means that we're kind of in a modern day setting. The reason I did that is because modern day settings have their own unique challenges when you need to create them so that they will fit in with society as we have it today and be recognizable, but still have their own flavor on them. And my flavor on them is that we're going to have these fantasy elements. So it's going to be a modern fantasy. And fantasy, I'm doing that because fantasy has its own set of challenges and things you need to do, and I want to be able to showcase both that you need, and so therefore I combine them. So that's it for the setting itself. I haven't yet fleshed out the fantasy elements too much because I haven't gotten to them yet, but I'm going to be doing that more and more as we go, so you'll see these character descriptions be increased as we go. By the way, the software I'm using right now is called Quoll Writer, and it's a free open source piece of software that you can make use of, and it saves things like characters and stuff like that separately, and then you can export things to Word documents or stuff like that. So I would recommend it for those of you who are looking for something like that. So let's get to the drafting of the prologue. So I have right here, this is my, the plot outline for the chapter. So Joss is feeling bad for whatever reason. We're going to introduce that she has a crappy job, no money, and has trouble interacting with people. We're going to have to put in that she wishes she could have a romance like she reads about, so a dream romance. Then at some point we're going to introduce her desire to be a writer. And as well, we're going to have to show that she's not that good. And I would like to show this through some of her prose if I can manage to do that. We'll see how it goes. After getting off work, this is where we get to the actual plot part, rather than just the setting and the introductory part. Joss will see a shooting star and thinks of her two desires. She decides to make a wish on the star for both of them. Then the star will appear and have the proposition of if she can get good at writing with his help, he will grant her other wish. So that's it for what I want to accomplish in the prologue. And as to how I arrived at this, I used my basic premise of, that's how I got the last two lines here about Joss sees the shooting star and makes a wish for them. And then the star appears and he's going to grant one wish if she can do the other. So that's from my premise. The first part is all about introducing the character and the setting. So we have this Jocelyn Bennett who is not very satisfied with her life right now, but she's working hard and she wants some things. And that's why she's going to make a wish, is because she wants some things and she's not satisfied with her life. So right there, I have her motivation for trying to get good. And the star's motivation is right now not fleshed out fully because I don't want it to become obvious from the beginning. So I've brainstormed a little bit as to why the star has decided to do this. And I have some ideas, but I have not actually set it in stone yet. And I think that this is a very good way to go about things because it leaves things more fluid. You should never get too attached to a particular idea because it may turn out to be not as good as you thought. Even a character, you may end up not keeping them or not using them or killing them off or something. And in order to be able to do that, you have to be able to detach yourself from these, because part of being a writer is deciding what is a good idea and what is not. So I haven't set everything in stone yet because I still want to leave myself the freedom to come up with new ideas and make decisions on them as I go. So that's why I've done it that way. Anyway, so here are my 3 sentences so far, or 4 sentences. And it's just showing, hey, Jocelyn is a waitress. She's not doing very well with this person. She tries, but she's not very good. And that's it so far. But I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how I went into the drafting of it and how I went into the brainstorming part, because that's really an important part of getting yourself started. Okay, I hope to see you next time.